3 reasons for scale weight alone is a terrible way to track results in the gym. Number 1 is if you're new to lifting weights or strength training, you're most likely going to be gaining muscle mass and losing body fat at the same time. So it's very disheartening if that scale weight doesn't change much, which what's most likely happening is you're losing body fat, but because you're new to weight training, you're going to be able to gain some muscle and strength at the same time. So that number may go down a much slower or maybe not even at all when you first begin to track your weights. Number 2, because people use it to compare themselves to one another. Just because your best friend's 60 kilos doesn't mean you're going to weigh the same as them. Just because they're shredded at 95 kilos doesn't mean you're going to be shredded at 95 kilos. You are a unique individual and your weight is just a number. Sure, it can be a good way of tracking progress if you use other measurements along with it. However, a generic number means nothing and shouldn't be your only goal. If you're 90 kilos and you look in the mirror and you're still not happy, what is the point of having just a goal of the weight being 90 kilos? There's other things you need to track as well. Number 3 is weight fluctuations due to water weight. Too many people are not aware how much your body weight varies day to day, meal to meal, etc. Me waking up in the morning is about 90 kilos at the moment. By the end of the day, I'm about 94.5 kilos because of fluid, food bulk, salt, and many other factors that happen throughout a day. There are so many variables that can change how much you weigh every single day that have nothing to do with the amount of fat on your body. To throw a few out there real quickly, cortisol. If you're more stressed in your daily life or you're getting minimal amounts of sleep, your body's going to start to retain more water because you're going to have elevated levels of cortisol. You're not gaining fat, but this could be masking the fat that you are losing during your diet. Another thing is carbohydrates. You sure as hell cannot lose 2 kilos of body fat in a night, nor gain 2 kilos of body fat in a night. But so many times I'm sure you've woke up from having a meal out and you've been 2 kilos heavier on the scale. That's simply water weight. You have to remember that for every gram of carbohydrate you store in your body, you also have the ability to store 3 grams of water to store that energy. So if you go out and you have a higher carb night, you've been dieting for a while and you have 300 grams of extra carbs. Those 300 grams of extra carbs now need 900 to 1,200 grams of water to hold that in your body. So that could be easily 1.5 kilos of fluctuation in weight just in carbohydrates, no fat gain whatsoever. Not to mention the extra food bulk, sodium bulk, and so many other factors that can just affect your weight. A heavy leg session or a big body session, full body session, can make you retain water because what happens when you sprain your ankle? It becomes inflamed. When you work out, you damage your tissue. You inflame all those tissues and it causes you to retain more water the day after. There are so many other reasons that I could go on and on about of why weight fluctuations can just be water and nothing to do with actually gaining or losing weight. So that's why scale weight alone is not a good indicator. So now you're asking, if scale weight alone is not a good indicator, what else should we be tracking? Well, some simple things would be progress photos. Taking a photo in the mirror is a great way, especially if you're recomping, which is gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time. The scale weight may not change much, but that photo could change hugely. You become much more defined, you could slim down, gain some muscle, and that's going to be visible with that photo. Using that along with the scale can be a good tool. Body measurements is another great one for this. You can do it yourself with just a tape measure. What you want to do is measure your waist to hip ratio. To do this, you simply just measure around your waist or your navel, your belly button, and then you measure around your hips, which is the widest point around your hip area where your pants sit. Just measure the difference between those two. Now what you got to remember is it's about tracking change. So being in the perfect spot to measure this isn't what's important. Consistency is important. So as long as you measure the exact same spots each time, you're going to be able to track change well. Now the others I'd also suggest to do would just be an arm measurement and a thigh measurement. If you're looking at reducing those areas, or if you're a guy, you're probably looking to gain some muscle mass. If your bicep is going up and your waist is going down, you're probably slimming down, losing fat and gaining some muscle. So it's a good way to track. So there are 2 really simple ways that you can add in some extra tracking into it. Now obviously you can look at doing skin folds and all these other things, but they're quite complicated. The best thing that I always tell my clients to go along with is tracking their macros, because if you're doing that along with some measurements and some weight, and you know that every single day you're tracking your macros, it's really easy to understand if you're actually gaining weight or if you're just having a weight fluctuation due to higher carbs. Because you're recording your food, you can simply go, oh, I had extra carbs and sodium last night, that's why my weight's up. I can wait a couple of days and it'll drop back down again. So my biggest key to you guys is don't rely on weight alone. Make sure you have some other way of tracking your progress to ensure you really know, are you moving forward or not? Because a scale weight can fluctuate all over the place. Or if you're at a more advanced level and you're someone like myself, my scale weight has not changed all that much over the last couple of years. I've had my points where I've been higher or lower, but the biggest thing that changes is my body composition. I'm sitting at the same weight, but I have far more muscle mass and a lot less fat mass than I ever have before. So my scale weight may be similar, but I look like a very different human being. So remember, there's far more to how you look in tracking your progress than just the scale weight. So I hope that's helpful to you all, and you can all have some better ways of tracking your progress. If it's always helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, follow along to my YouTube channel so you can get more great videos all the time. It'd be a great help. So hit that subscribe button, guys, and I'll see you next time.